expecting one more person to come. She will come anytime.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Well, it's a pleasure. Yes.
Thank you for having us. We're also equally very excited and intrigued at the same time what this show is about.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Sia.
I'm Tia.
Oh, Tia.
Hey,
very
nice to meet you. Can you hear?
Hello,
so
sir.
you're Sia, right?
Yes, I'm
You're,
Sia. I'm an artist.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Alright, sis.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, very nice to meet you. Very new faces, new people.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm not very sure about what it's about, but
I know everybody is new to one another. And we have to take a little bit of time to get to know one another.
Very true.
Hopefully, we are going to have a very interactive session. As we know, the situation in Nagaland now, I don't know why, but people are becoming so negative outlook. We don't have a positive belief in ourselves, nor other people, nor society, nor our politicians. Everything seems to be negative against one another. Elderly people, younger people, everybody is becoming too negative, I should say. And so we need to develop a positive mindset for ourselves and also mindset towards other people also, right? And so if you're going to succeed in life, you better have a positive attitude. Otherwise, many times we are observing that our people are developing the crab mentality, which is like you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, then when one or two crabs try to climb over the bucket, then the other crabs try to pull it down through the claws, So everybody trying to pull one another, criticizing one another, but not encouraging one another, not complimenting one another. So let's get out of this, I should say. It's high time that we develop a positive mindset, positive attitude towards ourselves, towards our society, towards our future, and towards our God. So that's what we are looking at. And so aspirations and positive belief is what our program is about. And so once again, let's introduce ourselves once again. Starting with on my right, please.
Hi, my name is Sia Vinyon. I am an artist, a singer, and I hope we will learn from each other.
So once again, I'm Manen, and I did my master's in social work, and currently I'm now working in All India Radio, Kohima. And like said, Sia, I'm excited to learn from each other. I'm sure we all have a story to tell.
Hi guys, my name is Kenny and currently I'm working as a radio jockey in All India Radio Kohima FM travel band, that is, and I have done my masters in mass communication and journalism.
Well, hi everyone. I am Jamir. I am also working as a radio jockey at the All India radio station. I am also slicing my time working as a seminar coordinator for an NGO generating employment for rural women, and I hope that this is going to be an absolutely amazing session.
We also want to get feedback from our viewers, so this is going to YouTube, Facebook, or wherever. So we will ask them to give in future, ask them to give you questions so that you specifically perhaps it will address to Seiya, to address to Kenny or to Tiara. So questions from our viewers, whereby if you have an issue in your life, after watching to this program, you have a better idea to ask about, right?
Yes.
So again, one of my belief is that as human beings, we need food to eat, to grow, to sustain, to strengthen. So in the same way, actually, as human beings, we need, food in other ways. I mean, like we need food, mentally food, spiritual, academic, social, emotional, even economical. And, we need constant to grow in these areas. Otherwise, we stagnate, we become negative. And that's the way we are seeing, so much negativity in our land, in our society. We have our first part of the discussion in this room. Now we'll go to another room to have our second part of the discussion. And before we do that, ini jalan demo itu saya nak crew kan behind the scenes we na kecil-kecil lagi na. So for today I'll introduce you to the crew.
That's nice.
Interesting.
Come along. Here is our meeting room. We have meeting here. So we This is Theja, by the way, Theja. And Wonjano.
Hello. I know you. The real heroes behind the curtain.
Very true, very true. Okay, so the different cameras we will select and then it will be recorded here. Okay.
Alright.
So this is Manen, he's the lighting person. Manen.
Hi. Hello.
Come. So, so we have Temjen here. Temjen, he's one of the assistant director. Temjen, one of our experienced technical guys. And then Tsido there. Then we have Sunep and Tokivi behind. One assistant director and the other is cameraman. The cameraman is helping out as production assistant now. Tokivi and Sunep. Well, what do you think, ladies? We have had a okay interaction outside and we have met the crew, which is unusual for any type of show.
Yes.
What do you think about the crew?
They are the real heroes behind the curtain, so it was amazing to meet the technical staff. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for introducing us.
And I was so happy to meet 3 of my friends. Like, we haven't met for ages. And then, yeah, today I met them. I was so lucky that I could meet them. That's Sunep, Temjen, Wonjano out there, guys. Make me look good. So, yeah, I was so happy to see them again.
Yeah. In fact, Kenny, you have a background in mass communication, right?
Yes, I do.
So, Woncha also studied mass communication. Of course, Temjen and all, they trained together with us. We've been working for the last 12 years. You know, we are also lucky to have them. Okay, as in every episode, we come together here, we watch the video, and we get some points out of the video, and hopefully we apply it to our lives. We apply it, you know, how it has impacted us, as well as the useful points we use it, as well as we try to share it with our viewers. The video was something to do with learning from pain, right?
Yeah.
Because pain is something everybody faces in their lives. Well, if you not face it head on, but maybe you have seen other people face it, or you know, find it difficult to deal with it, and so we learn from other people's pain also. But you know, it's good to learn from other people so that we avoid also in our lives also. But if you have experienced it in your life, in our life, that means we have to learn from it, right? We need to learn from it. Otherwise, we become defeated by it. And so, what could be something you can learn from pain, or what are the important aspects of pain, or is it a negative thing or a positive thing for you, for me? We have watched the video, and what are some of the things you could have learned from it? Anybody?
Pain, as you mentioned, is an integral part of our life. You know, pain is as important as love, happiness, ambition, and pain is there whether you want it or not. I just want to say that everyone is going through pain at different levels. You know, everyone is going through hell, just fighting different devils. So your definition of pain is going to be very different from my definition of pain. But that does not mean that I am not hurt and I'm not in pain. Pain by nature is very destructive. But if you have the capability, or if you have the support, if you have the understanding to harness that pain towards a productive thing, then it is going to yield magical, amazing, incredible results. So we just have to remind ourselves every time we are going through pain, because pain is, like I said, it's inevitable. We are going to face pain now or tomorrow. But what I do every time I face pain is that I just remind myself that what is coming is better than what is gone. So pain normally is in the past. So I just look towards future. So yeah, that is something that I, you know, work on it when it comes to pain.
Okay. For me, I think we learn in challenges than comfort. Is it not?
Exactly.
So pain for me is a gift. And when we experience pain in our life, it's not just responsibility, but we get to mature and be stable in our lives, in decision makings, and in a lot more, you know, personality manner. We get to learn ourselves, and at the same time train other people and understand, have a deeper level of understanding when we get to interact and get to meet people.
You learn more from pain than from comfort. That's very true. You grow through adversity, like that point which was given in the video, no? You know, so it says that you grow through adversity, through pain, through suffering. So perhaps I will just say, share shortly what happened to me also in terms of when I was studying, and also after finishing PU, pre-university science, I got an engineering course. So I went for the engineering course, which was in petroleum engineering in somewhere in India.
Okay.
So it was a very good institute, and we so I was doing okay. And then we had a music band. We used to go different places, and we hang around with friends, as well as did very well. In fact, in the music band, we used to get national awards.
So
and youth
you're
awards.
also into music?
Definitely I'm into music.
Okay.
So meanwhile, the studies got neglected.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
And so hanging around with friends and this sort of thing. And so, slowly interest also becomes lost, but it's all due to oneself. It was due to myself that I didn't keep up with my work. I didn't do my studies properly on time. And so, in this way, I lost a lot of years. A lot of years. So I could not finish the course, So after that, it was a very bad time for me because I could not finish the course. I lost so many years, and so, but I learned a lot from it. At what time we had to face a lot of struggle because we have to start all over again in a new college, new course, whatever.
Yes.
And also,
Definitely.
luckily for me, my family was also supporting me, and during the course of that, though it was depressing and all those, but I managed to, I passed through the course, which was in communications. So anyway, from that, I learned a lot of things. It made me more determined, more
Okay.
determined to whatever it is, to what I've set my heart to, and to achieve the goals which I need to achieve. So in that way, hopefully, everybody has to learn through the experience of pain or of a failure or struggle.
For a lot of people, when we experience pain and struggles and different battles in our life, we tend to be very negative. And we tend to go depressed, and instead of seeking God, we barely seek God, okay? And just one prayer or several prayer, you tend to give up. But sometimes God answers our prayer. It means that we have faith in God's ability, But when sometimes God doesn't answer our prayer, it simply means we need to be positive that God have faith in your abilities. Don't stop praying. So don't stop working. So, no matter whatever battles and pain and experiences and hard battles and frustration you have been in your life, always choose to be positive. And right attitude matters, by the way. Because your attitude is like the aroma of your heart. If your attitude stinks, something is wrong with your heart. So, I just want to say that everyone goes through pain. It's not that, me, an artist's life, my life is not perfect. Me, involving into ministries and singing on stage in front of the, thousands of people and dressed well and smile and sing or encourage other people, pray for other people, counseling other people doesn't mean my life is better than somebody else. Or it can be in same manner with my friends here. Everyone goes through, trials and temptations, or everyone goes through battles and hardships and frustration, depression, everything. Okay, we experience, but the most important part is our attitude matters, and be positive. So that's where you get to overcome or break through your pain or your battles in your life.
Well, I'll just connect with Tia. I don't know why I have a lot of connections today with everybody's story. But like I said, pain comes in different shapes and forms, sizes. And it may come from a family, it may come from friends, it may come from your health, it may come from many ways. But sometimes we end up demeaning one's pain in the sense that particular person, he went through this betrayal of friendship. So we go on saying, hey, it's okay, man. Miss Rakonish na manondo pat na kay nabi buya zero. Ito ko no. But we should respect that pain of someone else at the same time. Pain no hoy we compare ko na kotombi vinadagay. But we should just let that pain embrace and then grow. It's very important that we grow from the pain. If we just live by it, it does not do nothing. Pain do tadi koto mo inadagay, but pain ba grow gande. We get to see the side
where we can conquer many things.
Yes. And in addition to that, by the way, we cannot judge a journey. We cannot judge a journey that we have never trodden. So I agree to what you say.
Well, in addition to what you are saying, like pain, different levels of pain, like I mentioned earlier, everyone is going through pain, but at different levels. See, nowadays I've seen a lot of young kids going through depression. Maybe maybe that rises because people around them don't understand the pain that you are going through. You know, we have all heard about puppy love. You know, you fall in love with someone just because you are a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old doesn't mean that your love is not important. So a lot of people I've seen, like they go through that, or they go through this kind of some turmoil, and then they face pain, and people are there to demean it. You know, people don't actually recognize their pain or acknowledge their pain as pain, but it's just a phase of life. So that gives rise to depression. And I've met a lot of people struggling depression throughout their adulthood because there are people who do not understand. Just accept people as they are, along with their pain, along with their happiness, along with their joys. And pain gives rise to fears, and people become so fearful. One of my very dear friend told me that you either have a place in your mind for fear or faith. Those two cannot coexist. So if you have pain, then it will ultimately transform into fear, and if you have fear, then I think you lose all beliefs. You lose all faith in life, in people, in religion, in all institutions. So we have to address pain as a very crucial, important, and a very subjective matter, and not just a phase in life, or not just a time in your life.
Okay, now after listening to all of you and connecting everything, I just want to add some more thing. Yeah, we have been saying this, I think everyone is repeating this, but I'll repeat it once again, that everyone has its own share of pain, everyone has its own share of battle to fight. And so do I had my own battle, and I fought through it, but it was not an easy battle, I would say, and it's a very long story, so I won't be telling the whole story now. But to cut it short, I had a very hard time, and coming out from the pain was not an easy thing for me. And you know what, during that hardship that I was going through, during the time of my when I was having this painful time in my life, I was trying everything. I tried everything. I was searching the internet, how to go through pain, how to come out of this, overcome this. I was searching some videos, watching them, searching some speakers saying different kind of things, but nothing was helping me, nothing was helping me. And then and in this process of trying, I totally forgot that he was there. I forgot to look up and pray to him, and one day there was one person who came to me, and he just said that, Kenny, all you got to do is just pray. You don't have to do anything. It's very easy. Just pray and give everything to him, and he will just heal you. And that was the moment. I think that was the time, after 2 years, almost 2 years of the pain that I went through. I think that was the moment when he came and spoke to me. That was the time I smiled from my heart. So in the process of all the hardships that we go through, sometimes we forget the above one. The Father, the most important thing. This one, we just have to look up. We just have to have the faith, and we just have to say a short prayer, help me, and there you get it. But that's the most important thing I think we usually forget. And after that, what I learned is that you got to move on. You got to learn from it. You got to forgive. You got to move on, and only then you will be set free. Until and unless you forgive, the burden, it will be there always. But once you forgive, well, the burden is gone and you're free. So that's what I learned from it.
It's very much related to me when you said 2 years. Because I went through a phase of a battle for about 2 years, that there were people that started saying things which I have never knew or have done or have said. And I went through a battle which was very, very hard for me, to be honest. And I felt like the whole world was against me. I felt like the whole world left me. And I felt all alone, to be honest. And I went to a phase of depression and unforgiveness. And there was a time when I asked, Lord, what have I done? All I did was serve you my entire life, ever since I was very little. What have I done, Lord? Okay. And there was so much more exaggerations on the stories that I might have done. Okay. And I've gone through a phase of very hard time for me. Okay, that was the hardest battle that I've ever gone through, and it took me about 2 years to forgive them. It took me about 2 years to get, heal myself and heal my emotion, heal my spiritual, mental, my, everything. And it took me so much time, and I asked God why. But now, when I break through that phase, now I realize that was for my benefit. That was a benefit for me, because through that process I learned to be stable, more careful, responsible, mature in spirit, in physically or mentally. And the best part was I learned to accept people. I learned to understand people, because when somebody is going through a depression or pain in their life, we usually tend to a very common face, okay, that it's okay, koido. But deep inside we know that it's not okay.
True.
But I got to learn that. I got to learn that through that phase of pain in my life, that it's not okay to say to somebody going through a phase of depression or hardship or pain in their life that it's not okay, and I should never say it's okay.
Indeed.
Instead, I should encourage them, appreciate their positive side, appreciate their talents, or maybe if I see anything negative about them, any minuses, any personality disorder about them, I learn to correct them instead of go spread something bad about them. I learn to trust God even more and even deeper, and my relationship with God went even deeper. My spiritual gifts went even deeper, and the gift of pain was beautiful to me when I actually overcame it. And from there, a quotation that I really want to say, okay, I really tell this to all my ministry, my classmates, or my neighbor friends, my church friends, anybody around. I tell this, that the bigger the temptation and test you face in your life, the bigger the test and temptation you face in your life, the bigger the miracle and blessing you will discover in your life. What I mean is, if life is easy, something is wrong. Something is wrong when the devil is not disturbing you, because the devil disturbs you when he knows that he is in trouble. Now when you think that, oh, other people's life are easy and my life is hard, amen to that. Amen to that, because you could be your blessing and your gifts are even more stronger and even more powerful than other people's life. Accept what is coming through your way, what you are facing. It could be that that is training you to become the person that God is actually trying to mold you in your life, and actually trying to make you the person that He really wants you to. Okay, so a biblical quotation says, God is not giving you something which is not very hard for you to overcome, but something that you are able to overcome. So sometimes we all have different battles, okay, and we think that this is too much and I can't do it, okay. But God knows that you can go through that battle. You can go through that phase. That's why He got you there. So accept the fact that you are facing through a rejection problem, a family problem, a personality inferiority problem, or any other problems in your life. Okay, it can be pain in terms of health, in pain in terms of any other problems and battles in your life. Accept the fact. Pray to God, like my friend Kenny said. Pray to God. Have faith in the Lord, and positively move forward. I'm telling you, you will overcome your battle and you will shine.
Yeah, as we are talking about our own faith here, or I should say spiritual faith, I just want an addition here. Jesus knew how to be human, because he was a human.
Exactly.
So He knows every bits and parts of emotion to go through that. And for me personally, I think that with pain, it's very important for us to be vulnerable, because vulnerability leads to restoration.
Exactly.
So when you're not vulnerable, you're like, how do I say, exhausting yourself with all the baggage that you're carrying, because you think that it's okay, like safe, it's okay, it's part of life, and you're just moving forward. Whereas you're not learning from that pain. But it's okay to be vulnerable. Many of us, we fear to be vulnerable with the pain that we're going through. We're not like, hey, I need help. We're like, within ourselves. We think that we can conquer it.
We can do it ourselves.
We can it's okay. Or maybe time will tell. We just wait for the time. Obviously, time is the best answer, and time has the best answer, but not in everything. So when we're going through pain, vulnerability. I think vulnerability, most of us, we fear, but it is that leads to restoration. So we need to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable, exactly. And also another thing is, I think, that's me, I'm telling from my own experience. I'm one person, like, I play the victim.
Yeah.
I play the role of victim, like, why this happened to me? Like, killing my hair. Every time, why me? God, why me? Those
I
things. Like,
understand.
as if I'm the only person in the world that go through pain, and then, like, why me? Why me? Why me? If you're, until and unless you stop playing the role of the victim, I don't think you can ever move out from your pain.
Wow, that's very powerful, and I very much agree with that.
So, yeah, I'm no more a victim.
And you're a
I'm the
victor
fighter.
now.
Well, I totally agree with all that you have said. Life is a lifelong experience.
Yeah.
You live for 100 years, you learn for 100 years, and in those 100 years, they are not just going to be joys and happiness and balloons and rainbows. Sometimes there are going to be some storms, some
Yes.
pain, but I think we have to accept that and make the best use out of it.
I would like to know, I'm curious to know, what could be one major reasons why a lot of young people also go through pain, no? In Nagaland, especially we're talking about Nagaland. Is it family? Is it due to lack of opportunities? And perhaps our viewers can also say, they would be commenting. Yeah, what could be one reason why?
One simplest reason that I will like to comment is expectations. Expectation hurts. So the face of expectations make them go in verge of, pain in their
You
lives.
mean their own expectations
Yes,
or the family?
expectations from family, expectations from people, from friends, from relationships, or from God, from any terms of expectations in their lives, which fails and literally makes them feel, pain.
It's almost similar to what she said. I would say acceptance. Our young people are very different from who we were 10 years back, 20 years back.
Yeah.
They are very different. They are in a very fast pace. They are more vocal with their wants and needs, and then the generation gaps comes in between, and then acceptance from their the loved ones, family members, parents. Sometimes this leads to a lot of conflict. And this obviously conflict leads to a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Pain leads to depression, and
agreed. Yeah.
Okay. Lack of acceptance, generation gap, as well as a disconnect between perhaps our own roots also, perhaps their own roots, because they feel disconnected perhaps. And also like generation gap wise, like in one way our young people seem to be moving very much forward. I'm talking in terms of an older generation, okay? So
Yes.
like are they also in touch with their family, their roots, their the spirit, their religion, and their family, the values of the family? Or are we being impacted too much by the electronic media or social media? And are we also, not becoming too much westernized or too not having our own roots? We really need to examine our roots, but in one way again, there's no balance, because it seems as though our parents or our rural people also, they want to have a kind of a pulling back effect, whereas young people want to go forward, but again, there's no middle road, there's no balance sort of thing. So is there a disconnect? Definitely there's a generation gap.
What I personally feel is young people, like I mentioned, we are very prone to digital media, we are prone to social media, and we get so lured by the things that is happening out in the Western. And I think this is the thing that I'm trying to emphasize here, is acceptance. We just have to accept. Young people, they also have to accept the fact that we have a rich culture, we have a rich heritage. So the more you modernize yourself, it's well and okay, but then you have to remember where you come from. And even the older generation, they have to accept the fact that you cannot bind people, you cannot bind the young generation, because I think change is inevitable, and some things we have to let go of some things, and some things just have to be as it is. So I think to strike a balance, we just have to accept each other and communicate more.
Communication. Yes, talking about communication here and talking about social medias and all. Our young people, even me, I would say I've become a part of that, but it's all a part of a learning, right? So instead of spending time with our loved ones, family ones, we end up spending time with this, yes, the small gadget here. And then even when we are going through pain, we update that we are going through pain. well, that is not much healthy, I should say. And even when talking about social media, we end up comparing our life. That they have that, I don't have that. I need to ask from my parents. And when you go and ask your parents, there becomes a conflict, which creates the distance. And then he or she creates this ground or creates this cover within himself where we don't know how or he or how that person is, consumed by all of the things that he is exposed to. It can be even good or it can be even bad. But many a times I have seen and even experienced myself that we are exposed to the negative things most of the time. So I don't know. Change is good, but change, we should embrace change in a way that it could really help us to grow. But I don't think we are growing from it. Many of us, we are not growing from it.
Many a times pain can affect our self-esteem also. I've seen, I personally have experienced that, and I've seen a lot of my colleagues and friends going through pain, and slowly it started attacking their self-esteem, and then they stop working, or they stop going out, they stop being productive. So it's very important to see yourself when you are going through pain, that you are not a product, you are a human being, and it is okay to go through these things, and you are supposed to learn from these things.
I'm just wondering, what could be some practical ways you can overcome and get through pain? What could be some practical ways, simple ways you can overcome, get over pain?
Personally, for me, to tackle with pain, I would say, like you have said, I gotta say, you should stop expecting less and start doing more. When you expect, it always hurts. So just stop expecting and do without any expectation. And the other thing will be move on from it, and do not forget to forgive when you move on. Don't hold a grudge with you when you're moving on. Forget, forgive, and move on and learn from it. And yes, let your tears be the water that seeds your future happiness.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that quotation.
You need a good support system. You need a very good support system. And like I've mentioned earlier, vulnerability leads to restoration. So vulnerability, it all, sums up with acceptance. It all sums up with expecting less. It's all about being yourself and letting it go. So know that you're not alone, and know that there's always someone, and that is God, who's going to help you in every step of it. Just trust Him. Trust Him.
In conclusion to that, I want to add that we all have different stories and are fighting our own battles. So no matter what frustration, sorrow, or joy we face, or you face, we are here as one, and we shall shoulder it together, and that's what this show is about. I believe that the viewers can also comment down about your life experience about happiness and pain. At the same time, let us know what you think about it.
We look forward to discussing again in the very near future, and hopefully, this show will go as a weekly discussion thing. Viewers will get back to you, as well as we also once again ask comments and questions to come in to help us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.